The Diode SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Digital Entertainment On Demand and their associate sponsors.
Dylan Barnard, we look at him on the 64. He has been one of our comeback riders on the season, and definitely the second half of the season has been all about him. Magic Mike White, not a great qualifier for him on this circuit, but we know that he is out there trying to get a job done and nail down second place in this championship, riding out of Ridgeway and on the support Kawasaki ride. The front row is going to be a wild one. Everyone is going to be chasing things down. Anthony Shelley, he's doing double duty today on the Nashua factory-sponsored Yamaha. He's going to be on the 600s and the 1000cc's. Right now, he has got his first job of duty, and he has to get the job done. Not really in this championship hunt after having a couple of rough rounds and only been on the Yamaha for the last 3 rounds of racing. But the team will be looking after him and seeing what he can do. A track like this has Anthony Shelley written all over it, to be honest. He's a technical rider. He does like to change things up, but he is sitting a little bit off. Heads up, row number 2. Blaze Baker is down there. He'll be looking for a great run on the circuit as he is on the outside of row number 1, and that's going to keep him nice and busy. I think that's going to give him a real good lineup and a real good position coming off the pull. So Blaze Baker, we saw last year where he arrived at the Cape Town circuit, the makeshift circuit at the airport. That was where he came good. He's going to look to come good here again. The 51 is on point. Second place, and the man who would be king once again, Stephen Odendahl, is looking to run incredible pace at this round. He's second place right now, but he knows he just needs to finish top 3s to get the job done. Fastest man, though, in this morning's crazy sessions and the first man to throw down a big number, qualifying by almost 2 seconds faster than anyone else. But, of course, this is a different race now. It is dry. That means everyone is on the slicks. The cowboy, Adolf Bossoff, takes a pole position. Another one as well. He started to run real good, and had it not been for his DNFs and a no-show on the season, he may be able to run a little bit higher in the championship. So we've got 3 rows of guys racing out there. It's an 18-lapper. We are going to see some incredible lap times, not counting the times of this morning. Those times will tumble way, way, way down, and we will see some close bunching. I don't see breakaway rides this time around. This is going to be the Brat Pack. They're going to be running around about 8 riders deep the whole way through this event. Watch out for the do-or-die moves up the inside. The hard braking corners. There is definitely no moisture left on the track. It is prime. There is plenty of grip the whole way around. Inside, outside, doesn't matter. There's a ton of rubber on this circuit. We know it.
Adolf Bossoff, the cowboy, is certainly fired up. Stephen Odendahl, well, it's literally done and dusted for him, because remember, only man who can catch him is Magic Mike White. And Michael White didn't have a great qualifying. He sits in 5th place on the grid, heading down towards turn 1 as they start things out now for the warm-up lap. To get anything sorted out, Blaze Baker will be looking to be better than that and outgun Pooch into turn 1, up over Discover Digital and into the corkscrew of Portable Shade.
Please remember as well, Greg, this is the first dry lap of the weekend.
Yeah, pretty much.
This lap that we're watching right now, their warm-up lap, first dry setting of the entire weekend, and that means it's a completely different track.
Should be completely different in terms of how they look at the circuit as well. They might find some special lines as they go through this pretty much a practice session for them for race 1.
Yeah.
Once they've got it sorted out, race 2 will be awesome if it stays dry. But Blaze Baker is the man that is looking fired up.
Yes.
And wanting to get into the top 3. That's why he's so fired up. He's only 10 points behind Bossoff. Bossoff 40 points behind Michael White, and of course 49 points in it between White and Odendahl for the lead. So with 50 points up for grabs today, mathematical chance that Michael White could still win this championship, but he's got to win both races.
Dude, this outlap or warm-up lap looks like Super Pole. These guys are lit out there, definitely wanting to get as much heat in the rubber as they can. And we know on the season and in previous history that Blaze Baker is a madman off the start.
So keep an eye out on Baker off the start. Keep an eye on, of course, Stephen Odendahl. And don't take out of the equation Anthony Shelley. Shelley on the MTech Nashua Yamaha. The Neolife powered by Yamaha R6 of Stephen Odendahl. He's got one hand on the trophy. Whether he can maintain that grip for 2 races, we'll have to wait and see. From 2nd place on the grid, it's not a bad starting position to be in heading into turn 1, but your ideal position, of course, is going to be exactly where Blaze Baker and Darian Kaiser and Nigel Van Arsvik are. That's the race line. So it'll be the cleanest line.
I like the lineup for Magic Mike. Here we go. We've got a real short run, and Pooch gets the whole shot. He got a great run off the line. I don't really care what the chase car is doing. I want to see turn one. Here we go. It is Pooch, and Shelley has got a great run as well, and another wild, wide line coming out of Baker.
Baker was on the dirt coming out of there and moved up the inside of Shelley to get to third place. So Shelley had to back out of that one, otherwise Baker and him would have gone down. Good riding there from the two riders, but unfortunately Blaze Baker didn't capitalize and wasn't able to sneak through. Undal has got to the front. Here comes the Cowboy into second. That's Adolf Bosov. And it looks like it's going to be oh, look at that. The two Kawasaki's giving that Yamaha a very good run for its money right from the word go.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if there's going to be a fight back for Magic Mike. Here comes Blaze Baker, quickly up the inside, wags the tail, and he just brings it under control.
And sneaks through to make it stick. Can you believe that bit of action? Baker just forces Bosov wide up to second place. And the local man is into second, looking for an opportunity to take this win, first of all. Not going to take the championship, but if he takes the win, he's certainly going to move up into the third spot of this championship overall.
Well, we saw how Baker was pushing. Look at him. He's on the back wheel straight away. He is running incredibly tight inside lines the whole way around the circuit. Baker, we saw from that warm-up lap, wants to get on the pin straight away. And Shelley is starting to join the party. So Shelley, we said, was a threat on the circuit. Baker, watch this. Inside line, turn one. We are going to have a new leader coming in.
Hard on the brakes. Can he make it stick? He does. Oh, he goes up the inside and shows Pooch the way into turn one. Will he run wide again? No, this time he keeps it on the black stuff. Heading up towards Discover Digital. And now over the blind rise into that right-hander. Heads up for the corkscrew. The Kawasaki's in front. It's the Russellwood Muscle and Fitness Kawasaki ahead of the Neolife powered by Yamaha R6 of Undal. Oh, the bump nearly caught Undal out. I was about to say.
That was a hard hit there. Real hard hits, and the top three are in a freight train. Look at that. Pooch had a problem there. He may be running his tires a little bit too soft. The back end squirmed huge as he got on the pipe, and Baker is checking out. Here comes Bosov. He wants up the inside too.
Similar move to what we saw from Baker. Let's see whether or not we can get it all sorted out as they come out of there. Oh, look at that. Bosov's been forced wide onto the dirt. Bosov onto the dirt, and now onto the brakes into second place. Oh, Stephen Undal has been demoted down into third place in 3 corners.
And he sat Pooch up big time. So Undal is desperately trying to stay out of trouble. Normally, if it was early in the season, we'd see him lean in and fight back for that one. He lifted his elbow and said, you can go through, bud, because I know when Adolf Bosov wants to come through, he just takes it no matter what.
Yeah, the thing he's looking forward to, of course, is keeping an eye out for another machine out there. And having a look back to see how far that number 58 bike is. It's in 5th place. It's not even in contention with his top 4.
Long way out.
So he doesn't have to worry about any one of these 3 riders.
It's clear that this circuit is becoming one of those tracks where if you drop the hammer on laps 1 and 2, you can run and hide because there's no fight back. It's a slow climb and a slow pull, and the tractor beams are definitely on. Shelley is trying to join this party, but Baker is looking rock solid out front.
Incredible to see it's 2 Kawasaki's at the front end as well, as opposed to the 2 Yamahas that we've seen for the previous 4 rounds.
Yeah.
So as a little bit of a change up here, the Kawasaki's look like they've got a slight edge over the Yamahas. But when I say that, heading down into this Dio double right-hander, it's where we're seeing things change up ever so slightly in terms of the championship as well. Because remember, there is still an opportunity for Baker to get up into the top 3, but there's also a chance of Bosov closing in on Magic Mike.
Now, on the previous lap, Baker threw the big one, a 1:16.8, our fastest lap thus far this weekend. But I believe, looking at the riding style and the gap coming down, the fastest man on track right now should be the 1:32 of Adolf Bosov. The time will tell us as they come through and complete the Pirelli Southern Loop.
Right, we're getting into times that we saw at the club event that they had here a couple of months ago. The fastest bike around this circuit at that club event got down into the 16.9s. We've seen a 16.8 out of Blaze Baker, so it's already an official lap record around this track, the 16.8. It's quicker than what we saw at that club event, where guys got a chance to come here for the very first time and throw some laps around. But I think we're going to see it settle at about the 17.5 second bracket now for a while, unless the pace gets turned up.
Yeah, Baker's lap, previous lap was actually better. This time around, it's starting to fade off. Odendal is definitely fading off. He's running his tire too soft. That thing is squirming way too much, and it's going to be very hard to Odendal to come back. You can see his bike is moving around a lot. We know the suspension's dialed in with Martin Petzold spinning the spanners there, but I think the rubber is a little bit too soft, and they've gambled. You can see that thing's laying down lines.
I'm loving the fact that that turn 4 or turn 5 camera is now also dialed in, and we're actually getting all the action coming out of that. Great job from our crew to sort that one out. And now heading up towards the Southern Loop yet again. Woodendal starting to find some rhythm. Looks like Anthony Shelley just off the pace ever so slightly. He's in the 17s, but only, in fact, he's not. He's in the 18s. He's not into the 17s just yet. He's got to get into the 17s to make sure that he can run with his top three.
Bossoff looked like he was reacting. There has been a counter-reaction, or a reaction, should I say, from Blaze Baker. And we're going to see the biggest gap. Another flying lap. So Baker has just thrown another lap record, a 1:16.6. He's got 1.5 seconds in hand. Oh, the front end went. Front end went.
Dived away there. Yeah, dived away.
Bossoff needs a new knee slider and a new pair of pants after that one, because the front end and the back end were gone at the same time.
Now, well held there, Cowboy. It's kind of riding style that allowed him to catch that motorcycle as it dropped away on that off-camber section. Now into the hairpin, you can see the portable shade hairpin there, and it's a portable shade rider or an Anasys racing rider at Neo Life Yamaha, working really well so far. But this is the best bike so far we've seen on the day. Blaze Baker just turning the wick up at his home ground, basically.
And talk about being fired up. As soon as he lined up, as soon as they rolled out and Dick Shuttle said to them 1 lap for a warm-up, that was him. He was good to go, and the only man that went with him and matched his pace on the warm-up lap was Odendahl. The only man that seemed to be able to run close to his pace come the race time is the Cowboy. So we are seeing the fight back and the comeback of Kawasaki at the final round. Yamaha have been the rival of the season, though.
Yeah, really great to see a bit of a change up there. You can see that little river heading into the final two. Oh, problems for Kaiser.
Dazzler pulling onto the sideline. So Ungle Andy Racing, and the guy that was praying for the rain has had a mechanical. That's not gone down the road. That is a mechanical.
Looks like it's just out of turn one. In fact, I think I've confirmed that out of turn one. Yes, indeed, there go the riders that have just crossed the line. So maybe he ran wide and got turn one wrong. So he's got that all out of shape, and unfortunately for him, looks like he might be out of it. If he can get back onto track, though, he can still score some points, because remember, only 8 riders on track. He's still got a chance of an 8th place, which will still give him some decent points and move him up possibly into the top 10 in this championship.
Okay, Bossoff is on the pin. He has closed it down. There was 1.5 seconds 2 laps ago. There is less than 1 second gap between 1 and 2 right now. Bossoff is into the 16s, and we may see a new flying lap, because Bossoff is closing. That is less than half a second now.
Yeah, he's definitely closing onto the back end of Baker. Baker's got problems, and they're in the form of an orange and black Indy Oil Toy Store Kawasaki. It's coming, and it's coming big time. It's looking for a chance to close up on the local man.
If these guys have run their tires, sorry to jump in there, Greg. If these guys have run their tires too soft, which it looked like they did at the beginning of this race, that means Baker has probably shredded that rubber, and he is hardest on the gas out of all of these riders out of the slow turns. So this time, and I'm going to throw you the clock right now, Greg, this lap will tell us the story of the race. I believe Bossoff is fastest man on this lap.
Well, he was fastest on the lap. In fact, Baker just pipping him by only 0.4 of a second. So Baker on the 17.3. In fact, a 16.7. 16.7. It looked like a 17.7, but a 16.7 coming out of Bossoff. He was fastest on the lap, and he's now right into the clutches and up the exhaust pipe of Blaze Baker.
Yeah, across the line, it was just over half a second. I can tell you right now, as they go through and head to the dam, it is not that. They go into the turnaround, and here we go. 2 Kawasaki's streaking away from the rest of the field, and we know that the Cowboy is going to want this.
Look at the wide line from Baker. Slightly different option as he went down the hill now into the Discover Digital and Diode section. Now that double right-hander heads him into a left-hander. Oh, and Baker got out of shape there.
Yeah, he's starting to wag the tail. The rear grip is becoming a major problem on the lead bike. And there we go, through the NGL Logistics Dam. Heading now, the setup right-hander, the never-ending right-hander, which sets them up at the beginning of the Pirelli Southern Loop. This is where Baker is able to pull back a little bit more time, but watch how late on the brakes into the final turn the Cowboy is. When they come across the line, there will be less than half a second between the two.
Also have a look at the different line that the Cowboy uses through that Pirelli Southern Loop. He takes a very, very late apex, and that means he's only doing 2 of the 3 as opposed to having to do all 3 that Baker's doing. Only 0.3 of a second, 0.3 of a second between the top 2 riders heading up towards the drop away here at Discover Digital. It drops away completely from you. You can see definitely wider lines having to be used by the muscle and fitness machine out front. Yep. And that's just conducive of probably what you're saying,
Here
Matt.
we go, front
on
edge.
the inside. What a move there from Bossoff. I couldn't believe that one. I didn't think anybody would try that one, but Bossoff made it stick and he's got to the lead.
He has got a great front end working on his bike, was able to hold that inside line, defend the inside line, the outside lines. Baker has pushed his tires way too hard, way too early. Bossoff's bike is on point, and he will be able to pull a gap now. You can see that Baker is wagging all over the place. I believe we are going to see the Cowboy pull a gap and hopefully not pull a blind one like he has throughout the season. We've seen him absolutely throw opportunities like this down the road, and he's going to work hard now.
Well, we've definitely got a second look at that, and the replay of Bosov sneaking through there was pretty impressive. Let's have a quick squiz at that if we can. But as they head into, here we go. Oh, brilliant stuff. Just bombs up the inside. As I said, the slightly wider lines coming out of Blaze Baker's bike due to the fact that he doesn't have as much rubber left, or that he's cooked that rubber, is certainly not conducive to great lines from the second Kawasaki on track.
It was a lovely inside line, and you can see that Bosov is very comfortable running all the way to the curbs, hard on the gas, hard on the roll-up at the top of the hill. For me, these first double right-handers are the hardest corners on the circuit, and then that inside line at the bottom. There's the big bump as they head on in there, and all the riders are now aware of it, trying to change their lines. This is where the pass happened last time around, and a sneaky look over the right shoulder. Bosov's got the hammer down. Next time they come across the line, there will be over half a second lead.
An incredible bit of riding there from those two young riders, and really nothing in it between them still. Baker hasn't given up the battle just yet because he's only 0.2 off. Maybe he's just sitting there comfortably saying, okay, look, we're only at the halfway stage of the race, just to let you know. It's 9 of 18 completed on this next pass. So we've still got another 9 laps of action to come. And if it's been like this from the word go, what's going to happen to the flag?
Every time they come out of that right-hander, it is a huge moment for Baker. But Baker is pulling this one back. He is not letting the Cowboy check out. And the Cowboy is starting to just almost roll things off. I've seen a change in his riding style this last lap, and he just looks like he's trying to smooth things out. He's got to the front. He's now in the calm down mode.
In the zone that's going to try and keep him at the lap times he was able to do over the last couple. 17.4, 17.6. 0.2 between them, and still 0.4 the gap as they come through there. There's Nicole van Arsveken heading up into the portable shade hairpin. She's sitting down in 7th place with the demise, unfortunately, of Darian Kaiser. Still a top 7 finish there for our young lady rider on her birthday. Doing a great job just behind Dylan Barnard. Not too far off Barnard, in fact. And looking forward to seeing what those two are going to do. But right now, a 16.741 is the lap coming out of Adolf Bosov. It's not the fastest lap of the race so far. That's come out of Baker, and Baker is still on it.
We need to pick up on the 58 Magic Mike White, who is running down there in what I think is a lonely 5th place based on the times that we're seeing coming in here. He's something like 20 seconds off the back wheel of Anthony Shelley. So incredibly enough, Magic Mike White, who runs incredible lap times at Red Star Raceway, which is also a testing technical circuit, cannot figure this one out.
Yeah, I think the issue he's probably had there is that he's probably still on the wet setup. And changing to the dry tires and not having enough time to change maybe the suspension settings or the ECU settings hasn't given him the kind of drive. There he is.
There he is. I'm just
double right-hander through the diode section. And
we'll stay with him for the lap and see what problems he is incurring. But right now, I can see that maybe his style is just not working for this track. Trying to be a little bit too smooth, and I think this is one of the circuits here at Dezzi Raceway on the south coast of South Africa where you've really got to get aggro and get on the pipe hard out of every corner. It is point and shoot riding.
Oh, coming up into that southern loop now. And he's just hanging on and maintaining. Remember, he's still got 2nd place in the bag right now. There's a 40-point difference between himself and Adolf Bosov. Bosov, if he stays where he is right now, is going to take 25 points away from him.
Yeah,
it could be a consolidation ride coming out of Michael White here. Just going to try and hang on to what is 2nd. Look at the bike, though.
Yeah.
That's not handling like Michael White likes it to.
No, for me, that's a fully wet setup bike, and in the dry, that means the suspension's way too soft. Under braking, it's bucking around like a Bronco. It's all over the place. He's probably going to come in. In fact, I'd love it if you can catch up with him when you're down there after you've done your podium ceremonies and find out what the crack is. Because you know Mike will tell you dead straight what the story is.
Oh, there you can see, just wobbling down into turn 1. That's not how a motorcycle works with Michael White on board, I can tell you. He's a lot smoother than that, and he's actually having to use his skill to keep that bike at bay. Oh, a change up at the front, though.
Baker back in the lead, so there has been a change up. Baker, the local rider, having a hard look over his shoulder. Looks like we may have just missed that one while we're looking at the highlights of Magic Mike. But the race has not yet begun, clearly. Baker comes on through. They're lapping Nicole van Arsveken. Nicole is not enjoying this circuit right now, and that is how a bike should look going into turn number 1, but not on the way out. Again, on the way out, a little bit of a wag of the tail from Baker, but again, I think that's how he sets his bike up. He doesn't mind a little bit of loose spin at the back.
Let's just have a look at the lap times as well. All of a sudden, we're into the 18s. So there's a bit of a cooler and calmer effect on the front too. And in fact, the cooler and calmer effect and the little in-house battle all of a sudden has given Odendaal a bit of a sniff. And you don't want to do that. Pooch will certainly pounce and attack you. And if there's blood in the water, and hopefully it's not great white blood we're looking for, it's a Kawasaki flavored blood. I think that...
green blood.
Yeah, there's going to be some issues coming soon from the Neolife Yamaha.
As it sits, he's around about 2 seconds off the back wheel of this battle. But should this remain, he is going to be pulling up to the bunker. In fact, I think I just saw a shot of him in the background there. That is him. That is less than 2 seconds. That is 1.5 seconds by my clocked-in eye. And he is coming in.
There's no doubt about it. He is closing big time. And he realizes that those two Kawasaki's are starting to falter. So maybe just sitting back there comfortably and just taking the laps a bit easier. He's doing 17 ones. They're doing 18 deads and 18 nines. Almost a second quicker in third place.
Shades of Red Star Raceway 3 rounds ago, where we saw the Kawasaki's fade off, particularly the rear tire of the Kawasaki's, and we saw that the Yamahas were able to maintain their rubber a little bit better. This could be the ride of a champion, allowing the boys on the Kawasaki's, that's Blaze Baker and Adolf Bossoff.
I'll throw in another aspect of that. You catch your breath, unfortunately. Matt just get caught up with what he was saying. But another aspect to throw in here, of course, is not only the fact that the Kawasaki's are battling with traction and the Yamaha seems to be slightly better, but take into account that Pooch is used to riding slightly longer races. So these 18 laps would be nothing to him.
Incoming!
Oh! How do you squeeze the man out there? That's how you do it, Adolf Bossoff.
And that is an Adolf Bossoff pass. You pretty much allow the rider in front of you no comeback at all. It is it's called a block pass. It's a bit ugly if you're the rider on the outside, but it is clean.
Certainly is. Matt catches everything flying here in the commentary booth. Papers and rascals and water and everything.
I dropped all my sweets.
That's exactly it. Right, so the battle at the front is not done. And if they do start to have this little in-house battle, which they're doing, it is certainly giving the advantage to Stephen Odendahl.
Well, last time around, it was over 2 seconds. This will be the lap that answers all of our questions.
So here you go, up on the inside into the DO double right-hander.
Hold your breath.
Look at that. The bike got out of shape. The last time the bike got out of shape like that, he went up the back end of Alan John Fent on the Triumph. This time, fortunately, made it stick, got through, and sealed the deal for first place. So it's Bossoff who leads back into the corkscrew, and on his tail is Baker. How far back is Odendahl? You can just see in the background. Keep an eye out for that Neolife Yamaha.
Yeah, he looked like he was closing. It looks like he may have settled down now. So all that work that Stephen Odendahl has done in the mid part of the race may be for nothing because the gap is back.
I'm worried because I don't see Odendahl. I'm concerned.
Last time across the line, Shelley showing up on our score sheets.
Odendahl's gone down.
There it is.
Odendahl has gone down. There it is, confirmation of it.
And that was when he was closing things down. He was pulling the gap back. He had brought it back to just over a second, and the champ is down.
It's out of NGL Logistics. There come our leaders. Here go past, and they'll get to see that. In fact, that is a very tricky part of the circuit. It's through the double wall over the dam, and he's gone off there and lost the front end by the looks of things. And Stephen Odendahl is out of this one.
Confirmation.
Now, how does that play for the championship?
On track, we've got, while you're doing your maths, on the track, we've got Bossoff leading things out over Baker. Shelley 10 seconds back in third place. Then Magic Mike White a full 20 seconds off the back wheel of him. So this has changed up the championship completely.
Okay, having a look at the way things go, it looks like he, even with this DNF, Michael White's got to get up higher. There's Odendahl, he's okay.
Well, thankfully, that's a good shot for us to see that Pooch is all good. Confirmation. Odendahl, all good. Dirty, damage to his bike, and a lot of damage at that.
Yeah, that's one very damaged Neolife Yamaha. But the two Kawasaki's at the front end, or Bossoff back to the front of this little battle between the two of them. Shelley now up to third. Now, if I look at the way things have gone, Michael White was 49 points adrift coming into this round.
Baker trying to go for the same. Oh, Baker is looking at coming back. Sorry to jump in there. Trying to set up the same line as Bossoff just pulled on him.
White has got a possibility of 13 points going to be recovered here in this round, which means there's going to be 36 points in it for the final race, which is still not enough.
Bossoff just had a huge moment going into NGL as well.
Michael White had to win both races today, so even with the crash, Odendahl doesn't have to worry too much. There we go, double right-hander in the Pirelli Southern Loop. Flick it over onto the left-hand side. Dry lines right the way through the track now, and the two Kawasaki's fighting at the front end. 14.5 seconds ahead of Shelley on the last pass. But Shelley, of course, was behind Odendahl. Wasn't too phased about trying to catch up there. He was just hanging on. Remember, he's got a lot of work to do today. He's going to climb straight off this motorcycle, straight off the podium, in fact, onto his R1 and go and race in the SuperGP. So it's 36 laps of racing Anthony Shelley's going to be doing back-to-back.
I don't think you're going to be speaking to Shelley after this race, by the way. You're going to have to catch up with him at the end of the day, as Baker is just lining this one up. Baker is allowing Boshoff to do all the work right now, and well done, because you just want to allow him to make the mistakes.
We've got 2.5 laps to go as they head down toward the DO double right, and onto the brakes. Baker now hanging tough. I think Baker's going to wait until the very, very last possible time to overtake Boshoff. He knows that if he goes too early, Boshoff will come back at him.
Well, we just went through the corner where Boshoff was able to make his big aggressive move. The previous lap, Baker had a sniff at giving the move straight back to him. This time around, it was a very inside line and a slow entry for the Cowboy. So he is defending. He is in defensive mode. The lap times have plummeted. They're running around about 1.5 seconds slower because Boshoff is hugging the curb.
Hugging the curb and going defensive everywhere he can. And across the line, the last lap they were in the 18s, probably going to still be in the 18s. I don't think we're going to see dropping back down into lap record pace at this point of the race. 18.6s out of both riders. In fact, that was a point, it's 0.05 of a second between the two of them. So incredible bit of stuff here heading into the last part of this race. 16 laps completed, 2 to go.
Yeah, penultimate lap is where we are. We are on the corkscrew now, and you can see that Boshoff is nervous. His whole body language telling me, oh, inside curb there. That's what we talk about, the bump. And that was Baker almost getting himself up and over the bars. He stays in it, but he'll have been shaken but not stirred. He's still right there on the back wheel of the Cowboy. But if you try and change up the lines, this track will bite you.
That was going to bite sore, bro. Jeez, that was a huge moment there for Blaze Baker. Managed to hang on to it just.
The problem is you're dipping down a hill, and as you kind of tag a little bit of roll on the front brake, you hit that bump. That is suspension, nowhere to go.
Check at that. Oh, man, that hurt. And then he had to run wide, so it did cost him a little bit of time, but he just kept it buried. I can't believe I just hung onto the throttle.
He was a little bit too early clipping that apex, and these curbs are pretty high, so these bikes were smashing them. And I think a lot of these riders, because of the cool conditions and wet conditions this morning, have maybe still run the suspension a little bit too soft. Definitely the Kawasaki boys are bouncing around more than the Yammies. Here we go, last lap, and Baker wants it, but you know, I think Boshoff wants it more.
Is he close enough? That's what we've got to take into account now. He's got to try and find that special line. He's not close enough for my liking as they head up into Discover Digital.
He's got a terrible run across the line. He's going to have to do a lot of work the whole rest of this track to make it count.
Into the drop-off. This is where he got it wrong. Let's see if he gets it a little bit better this time. That's much better line from him. So with half a lap to go, coming out of Portable Shade, corkscrew and hairpin, they head down towards the dam section and the DO double right-hander.
Out of the Portable Shade hairpin, now we go and set ourselves up. This is where Baker has been super strong. Oh, the back end's gone. No, that tire is just spinning up. Every time he tries to get on the gas, the back end is saying, that's all I've got, buddy. This is all we can do. Second place, I think that's what Baker is going to have to settle for.
I don't know if he's going to settle for it, though. I have to agree with what you said. The sentiment is right. But the way that Blaze Baker is riding, and because it's his home track advantage, or I wouldn't say his home track, but of course it's his home nation that he's fighting for right now.
Province is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, let's see what he can do. Double right and into the Pirelli Southern Loop. There's a wide line and an opportunity. It's not done yet. Baker could still sneak through.
So out of Pirelli Southern Loop and onto the start-finish straight. It's going to be the Cowboy all the way to the flag. Baker gave it all he could, and Baker celebrates with a big stand-up wheelie with his Kawasaki stablemate. So it's the Cowboy versus Baker. Gauteng versus KZN, and taking it by a long chalk. Shelley still not across the line, incredibly enough. And there is your champion's bike with a ton of damage. We'll have to find out what happened, but it's clear that he had a major problem as he dropped down into NGL Logistics.
Well, Matt, between those two riders for possibly third place in this championship, 15 points up for grabs into the next round.
So incredible racing action, and the 600s for me, I think they have probably given us one of our best races on the season. Those two Kawasaki boys on the big comeback. Baker, a little bit of a sighter there where he had his major problems up and over the bump. And Baker just going to say goodbye to what's left of that back tire. Lines up in front of the crowds, and what a show they've put on. Adolf Boshoff and Blaze Baker getting their way through. They'll put it on the back wheel once again and do the celebrations. Confirmation of Anthony Shelley in third place. Magic Mike White gets that fourth place. Dylan Barnard comes through with Nicole van Osbeek and a lap down. And an early retirement for Darian Kaiser It was 12 laps in where we lost our championship leader, Stephen Odendahl, who still remains championship points leader, even though he has that problems on his machine. So we'll wait for all the riders to come in. Greg Maloney will be heading down to pick up all the action, comments, and reactions from the riders on the podium presentation.
Matt down here at the podium ceremony with the bikes just being put into place. Some interesting looks at the tires, I've got to tell you. They've worked hard, but they're not as badly ripped up as what we thought they'd be. It's not too shabby at all, in fact. I can see that Ricky Morais is having a quick chat to Anthony just to find out what's happening with the MTech bike, but it also sort of come on nicely at the end. I think he just needs to try and get it sorted for the first. But what we were saying in qualifying, and you can chat to me while we're waiting, I think there's an issue here with, of course, the guys not having enough time to change the setup from wet to dry. And that's exactly what these riders are starting to feel. But awesome riding nonetheless from our top three in Super 600s. As they get all sorted out, we'll get our podium ceremony almost good to go here. It's two Kawasaki's on the podium this time, which is a change-up for what we've seen at the last couple of rounds with the dominance of Yamaha. But certainly this track seemed to be conducive for the Kawasaki's, and particularly for the Cowboy. Big pity that we lost Stephen Odendahl in the ride there, but with 36 points still up for grabs, I don't think Magic Mike is going to catch him. So even with that crash, it's not going to affect Odendahl's lead in this championship too badly. But we certainly have a battle royal between Baker and Bossoff expected in the next round, the next race later on today, because there's only 15 points between the two of them now, with 25 points up for grabs. So that will definitely only be sorted out after the second race of the day. Let's get them on the podium, though, in third place, riding for the brother and MTech Nashua Yamaha team. Let's get Anthony Shelley up onto the podium. Second place, and of course his sponsor is here today, which is great to see. It's a 14-time South African Superbike champion that helps this young man out. He's with the Russell Wood Muscle and Fitness Kawasaki team. He's alongside me. Make your way up onto second place there. Blaze Baker. And no one could catch the man today. They did try. They chopped and changed, but on Toy Store and Indy Oil Kawasaki, it's the Cowboy in first place, Adolf Bossoff. Third place can be handed up by Mr. Wayne Riddell from Motorsport South Africa to Anthony Shelley. Pradesh from Pirelli is going to hand out second place to Blaze Baker. And Mr. Stephen Watson from Gas Sports will be handing out first place to Blaze Baker. The Cowboy. I mean Blaze Bossoff. Anthony Bossoff, Anthony Shelley, Shelley Bossoff. It's all the same. They're all good, eh? You try and remember all 175 riders' names and sponsors through the season and see how difficult it is. Let's give them a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And let's get them down here to have a quick chat to find out how it went. And first of all, starting with you, buddy. You've got a busy day, and I don't want to keep you too long. That's why I want to quickly jump in. But it wasn't quite the setup you wanted. Did you have enough time to change from wet to dry?
Yeah, we had enough time. I don't know, I battled a bit now, the traction. But it's a good race. Well done to everyone. And I'm happy with the third place. And we'll see what comes in the second race.
Well, go and get some more duties done now, because you've got to go climb on R1 now, buddy. So good luck on that one. 36 laps of racing, and we wish you all the very best. Second place, Blaze Baker. Blazy, you were looking for a win today, but I know that, and you pushed hard for it. Unfortunately, it just didn't come. But it certainly looks like your bike is working well, and you've got the pace to take a win today.
Yeah, you know, we're going to do a few changes for race 2. Just get the suspension just to work a little bit better with the sun out and the little bit hotter conditions. Yeah, it's the first time we've had these conditions all weekend, so yeah, we just need to get that right, and hopefully we can go one up for race 2.
We look forward to that. Good luck, and well done for race 1. Dolphy, let's get in here, big guy. It's a bit of fun and games out there, but some incredible passes that you and Blaze were able to pull on each other. I don't know where you found the pace, particularly the one coming out of the corkscrew.
Yeah, for sure. That pass I lined up from the first corner. Yeah, Blaze rode extremely hard. I love dicing with him. It's always fun. Yeah, there was no traction at the end of the race, and this victory really means a lot to me, because Red Star didn't go my way, and I want to counter on this and hopefully get a double. And I'd just like to thank all my sponsors, TH Transports, Indy Oil, Toy Store, Arai, everyone. Just a big, big, big shout. Kawasaki, thanks so much, guys. Without you, this wouldn't be possible.
Everyone is out there on dry rubber. But we are literally racing the rain. 18 laps for these guys to live on and survive. And we know that the Super M's and Super GPs will be looking skyward for the next 20 minutes before they make their own decisions. So dry rubber confirmation as we look at the Indy Oil Kawasaki ZX-10 of Adolf Boshoff. And he is definitely wanting to walk away with some big numbers here today. Such a strong rider, very strong mentally, came here ready to rock and roll. No track time. Everything is being done on wet weather setup, and he is hoping to convert his great results from race number 1 into a back-to-back and walk away as the fastest rider at the end of the season. Stephen Odendahl confirmation then that the Brad Anastas Racing Neolife powered by Yamaha crew have been hustling, spinning the spanners and losing skin off their knuckles to try and get that bike back on point. He goes back to his spare helmet, which means he bounced his head. I saw a little bit of a graze to his head, so he definitely went down proper hard on the way into NGL Logistics around about lap number 12 in heat number 1. Blaze Baker is good to go, ready to rock and roll, and going to be the most aggressive rider off the start, bar none.
Unofficially, in terms of the points as they stand, Odendahl has got this title sewn up, so he doesn't have to worry about even completing this race, although he's going to go for the final win of the season, as we heard from him when he was standing here chatting to both Matt and the clerk of the course after he was down. Magic Mike also pretty much all sorted out in terms of second place in the championship. The third place battle is where it's going to happen between Adolf Boshoff and Blaze Baker, and I'll give you the exact points difference between those as I get a chance to work them all out. It's a bit of a run around, then you get down to podium and then come back and do some maths, and it's not my greatest point. So as I said, this is all unofficial, but right now that's how they stand. Odendahl from Magic Mike, Adolf Boshoff, Blaze Baker, Nicole van Arsvegen still in a top 5 ahead of Anthony Shelley, who's in 6th place now in this championship. So that's how it stands heading into this final race of the season for the Super 600s.
So riders looking for big improvements this time around, not counting Odendahl, who of course will want to run and take the final victory this season. Magic Mike White, 2nd place in the championship, looking to nail down a good result in heat number 2. Dazzler Kaiser had his problems in race number 1 in the Uncle Andy's racing machine, as well as Nicole van Arsvegen, who did not find the rhythm. And one of our early retirements as well, just really battling to find pace, so she got put a lap down. She will not have been happy with that at all. Also, Anthony Shelley trying to figure things out. He's going to go for another podium position, but it's not going to be easy this time around, should everyone stay on the black stuff.
I'd like to see him get that podium, even if it's the 3rd spot. That'll be 3 podiums in a row on the same day. And that, in its own right, must be a South African record or a new bit of history in the making, particularly if he gets onto the podium again in the Super GPs.
I'm sure Shez has done something like that, but certainly will make history by saying that it hasn't happened here before.
I don't know. I'm thinking back, and I was thinking about it when I was down at the podium, seeing him step up onto that 3rd step. I think Shez went back-to-back podiums, but he never went back-to-back podiums in 4 races on a day. And I think that's what Anthony's going to be looking forward to. In terms of the points, Adolf Boshoff and Blaze Baker, there are 15 points between the two of them. So with 25 points up for grabs for a win, 20 for 2nd, 16 for 3rd. 3rd place is where Baker has to be with Boshoff not finishing if he wants to take what is going to be 3rd place in this championship overall. It'll be awesome effort from him here at his home province to do that. And of course, in front of his sponsor, Russell Wood, as I mentioned earlier at the podium, is here. He's in the house. 14-time South African motorcycle champion. And also one of the key players last year in the event going to Durban Airport. So look forward to the battle between Boshoff and Baker. That's where things are going to be. Nicole van Arsvegen, that's the triumph we've just seen in shot, with Anthony Shelley going past her on that little short straightaway as they head down the hill. Still in with a shot of finishing in a top 5 overall in National Championship Super 600s.
Just thinking about that figure, Russell Wood, 14 times South African motorbike superbike champion. So that's 10 more years that Clinton Seller has got to don the leathers and get it done.
Yeah.
10 more years.
Exactly.
Goodness me.
Not easy. Not easy at all.
Goodness me.
Right,
He'll be in a retirement home by then.
Yeah. Well, I think Russell Wood needs to be one. No, I'm only joking. Right, so we are getting into the final part of Super 600s. This is what it's all about. The Brat Pack, as we like to call them, are in the house, although there are a couple of riders now into their 20s. They're not all teens anymore. One of them being, of course, Nicole van Arsvegen, and that's our top lady rider.
Yeah, we've actually got to rephrase these things. Brat Pack is now the Super Juniors. It's got to be.
Yeah, 100%. And then when you look at Darian Kaiser, another man out there on the Uncle Andy's racing machine, he, of course, turns 21 on Monday, so he'd love to be on the podium, give himself a bit of an early birthday present, although he's got to find something special in that Kawasaki of his to run with those front pack.
All right, man with the green flag doing all the hustling at the back of the pack tells us we are about to drop the flag off the front here. All eyes on the lights. Watch out for the aggressive moves off the front row. 3 of the best starters in the business on the front.
And looks like it's going to be Udendal to be the man into pole. Hole shot. Anthony Shetty sneaks up into a possible third, forces Baker onto the grass again. Wow.
But he never rolls off at all. Magic Mike just getting hustled around the top end of the corkscrew, but a much better gate this time around. 5th place for Magic.
And right on Baker's tail. So the 2 Kawasaki's behind Anthony Shelley on the Nashua M-Tech Yamaha. On the inside comes Baker, trying to do a block pass. He's got it.
Got it done square. He's going to fire that thing out, and he is going to be able to convert that move, because the next time they flip over, it's a lefty. And Baker, wagging the tail there, trying super hard to get onto the gas, but the tires are still a little bit chilly. Definitely the top 4 are stretching it straight away.
Shaking stuff from Baker as he came out there. Shaking Baker.
Shaking Baker.
Had to come shaking Baker at some point in the season.
Thank you.
But he got it all right and managed to just sneak it in there. Now he's got to try and close in on this Indy Oil Toy Store Kawasaki.
How strong was Bossoff off the start line there? His bike was all over the place heading into the first turn lefty, and he didn't back it down at all. It was crossed up left, right, and center. Baker, though, means serious business.
Okay, it's a Yamaha at the front end, and the man who's going to wrap this championship up here, he has done it all right all season long. He's actually wrapped it up going into this race, so it's pretty much now who can get the last
Baker.
play.
He had a good run. He's going to get the line up the inside, rolls out of it, because you don't want to shove it up the inside of Bossoff. He will cut your nose off, but it was a good power out of the final turn coming out of Pirelli, and Baker definitely wants through quickly.
So 0.3 of a difference between 1 and 2, 0.4 between the first 3, 1.5 between the first 4, and 2 seconds between the first 5 bike, which is Michael White there in 5th place. Still not going according to plan there for the consortium shipping man. He is in 5th place and has lost ground almost instantaneously to the ground he made up on Anthony Shelley.
Did you see that drive for Adolf Bossoff coming out of Portable Shade Hairpin? He's got the line up the inside as well, so he's going to be able to just have enough time to pull that one back online. And that is just huge hustle. The squirt coming out the corners is just insane out of Bossoff's bike.
It's an incredible bit of riding there from that young man. The cowboy, as he likes to be known, comes out of NGL Logistics heading into the top end of the circuit. The Southern Loop is a very, very tricky one to get right, and if you can get it right, you can make up ground. We saw that in the Super Juniors. Now they come into that section. Look at the close up there from Baker. Baker looking dangerous. Had a big look on the inside of Udendal. Udendal going to have to be careful into turn 1. If Baker can get the drive, we're going to see a new second place man.
Yeah, Bossoff is obviously happy with the heat in the rubber. He's got a real good setup. On his first flying lap, a 16.6. Super strong numbers coming out of him. Udendal, I think he's still trying to feel out his bike. Remember, that is a repaired bike after it went down in lap 12 of heat number 1. Udendal is still trying to feel it out.
Lap record from race number 1 was a 16.661. So he is sitting 100th of a second out there in terms of the lap record. So that's the kind of pace they're pushing. The conditions are almost ideal now. There's a slight breeze which might be helping the riders in certain sections, but it's definitely keeping the rain away, and that's what we want.
It has got brighter. There's Baker trying to go for the outside, inside. He outbraked himself.
Overcooked it.
You saw it. That thing was twitching all over the place. Outbraked himself. Stays on the black stuff, but has lost the toe now. He's got around about half a second to make up to get onto the back wheel of Udendal now.
And Shelley's just seen that mistake, so he's now looking to possibly run at the front and get back onto the podium. Remember, it's up to Anthony Shelley now to push hard for that final podium position. It won't get him into the top 5 in the championship. It's going to bring him close, extremely close, to Nicole van Arsvegen, and she will be able to hang on. And even with the race victory, unfortunately, Anthony Shelley wouldn't have got there.
Oh, that was desperation for Baker, but he has been able to pull back. He hasn't lost too much of that advantage that he managed to gain in the early couple of laps. Here it is. He gets a position on the outside, lines up inside. He definitely wanted to go for it, but that thing was wagging all over the place. It was never settled, and he had to let go. Thankfully, that corner and the designers of the track gave the guys enough time that they can let go of the brakes and still live on.
Just enough room to make that right-hander. Now into the corkscrew section. Look at that. Flick it over. Bossoff from Udendal from Baker. 1.5 seconds between them. That's nothing in Super 600 racing. We've seen smaller gaps and bigger gaps than that. attained by riders from behind. So let's see whether or not that's going to be the case. Anthony Shelley's got 3 seconds to make up. He has got a very strong Yamaha underneath him, but right now just not able to bridge that gap between the top 3.
Yeah, all he is doing is trying to consolidate, but right now Baker is the dangerous man on the track because he's on the comeback trail trying to make up for that mistake in the early stages. But watch Bossoff's bike, particularly in the hard braking zones where you have to just anchor up completely and then get back on the gas. He is so aggressive on the throttle. Literally, you see his hand let go and he just rips it all the way through the throttle.
It's just incredible how he goes straight to the locker point on that throttle. There's Nicole van Arsvegen. That, of course, is Women in Motorsport Triumph South Africa 675 Daytona in full flight with our young lady rider looking for a top 5 finish as the crowds here at Dezzi's are enjoying all the action from the Super 600s.
Let's talk numbers. There is just over a second between Bossoff and Odendahl. There is 0.8 of a second between Odendahl and Baker, and they are all in the sweet spot. We've got lap 4 completed, which means the tires are primo.
New lap record, 1:16.212 from Adolf Bossoff. He now sets the track alight and is close to the lap times coming out of Clinsella. A 15.7 out of Sella, a 16.2 out of the 600. Wow, that is incredible stuff. Only
half a second.
0.5. Yeah, half a second.
Half a second. Simple as that. So Baker, let's see if he can pull this one back. It was 0.8. This was a corner that he had a problem last time around. That's not 0.8. That's about 0.4. So Baker is starting to build this one up.
Yeah, looking for momentum after that little mistake. Took a while just to get back into the rhythm. He's in the rhythm now and looking for a chance to close in on the champion. It's going to be the number 1 shirt going on to Odendahl, a double victory out of Brad Anassas' team, and that's a tremendous effort from the Neolife powered by Yamaha Racing stable. But are they going to get the final victory of the season?
Yeah, same competitors, same teammates as last year, changing up equipment this season. If anything, it's made them better. They have really come on point. They had no problems with last year's equipment, no problems with this year's equipment, and the most jacked team come on song and deliver the goods once again.
Yeah, the only mistake that they actually made was rider error, coming out of Steven twice and coming out of Clint twice. That was the only time we saw a chink in the armor. Other than that, all good.
All right, so we are watching the comeback trail. Baker does not want to take 3rd place. Baker wants to come through. He wanted actually to go through and challenge for the win, but the way he has ridden in the early part of this has put him off the back wheel. Basically, if you're running in the top 3 of the Super 600s, you can't make a mistake. If you do, the class and the pace that is pushed out front is too hard to come back from.
Just picked up on the fact that he hit the bump there and forced his helmet almost into the visor of the motorcycle. So that screen and helmet visor coming very close there after Baker went over that inside bump heading down the hill. Now into NGL Logistics, past the dam. I'm just looking at the times. Yeah, Baker is quicker, but he's got some time to go.
Baker's brought back about 0.2 of a second on that lap. So he is making inroads, but it's very small, and he's taking a lot of risks to make it happen.
Some risks being taken there by Eugene Liebenberg to get some great shots out on track. He's one of our top MSA photographers out on the circuit. They're doing a super job to catch all the action. The action coming to you, of course, on live streaming. And as they cross the line, they complete lap number 6 of 18. And a new lap record coming out of Bossoff, a 1:16.1. That is 0.4 of a second now between the thousands and 600s.
I really didn't think we were going to see a 600 tickle the 15s, but he literally is just that. Literally tickling it just outside. A 16.1. I can't see him going any faster than that, but he is edging this one out. He really is. And the gap between 2nd place Odendahl and 3rd place Baker is coming down dramatically.
Yeah, Baker's on it. He is looking for a way past.
Oh, a long look over the shoulder for Odendahl this time around.
I think you can hear that bike screaming in his ear. That's why he's worried. And if that Kawasaki goes like this...
Not close enough to pull this pin, but a huge drift. And covering the inside line, you can see that Odendahl knows he's there, and that is a strong point coming out of NGL. It's a very strong point for Baker and his bike.
Kaiser slowing down on the inside there and being overtaken again. Darren
Rough
Kaiser
weekend.
having a tough weekend on his birthday weekend. Of course, we did mention the fact that he turned 21 on Monday, but he'll look to go to the Suzuki 12-hour and do some damage there, where, of course, his team is in the running, and Clint Sella is on that team. So look out for that at Red Star Raceway on the 10th of October.
There's a team. Man, oh man. Those guys are unbeatable, and of course we head towards the final event of the year, the Bike SA 24-hour, pretty much the wrapping up of the 2015 season on the 5th of December.
Incoming. Oh, Baker is all over the back and looking for a way through, if not over the man in front of him.
There is a chance of a pass at the top.
Oh, look at that! You're about to say it. Can you believe it? I didn't think we were going to go for that.
There is a chance. There is a chance. If you are super brave and a little bit crazy, you can get up the inside, because as soon as someone's committed on the outside, if you're there, they have to sit up.
Sure, I can't believe they tried to pull that one off. Shake and Baker, we've already seen an opportunity to try and go in on turn one. Now they're going to go side by side down towards
Here we go, the long way round.
Woo!
Baker has to roll it out because there is slightly less rubber on the outside of that line, and Odendahl is now starting to slow the pace down. He's blocking.
I can't believe where Blaze Baker is trying to make
Everywhere,
moves.
wherever you can.
Now he goes into NGL Logistics. Watch for the drive, maybe across the dam wall and up into the right-hander.
Just to show
takes
you.
him back over the airstrip.
Just to show you how the pace has dropped down as well. Bossoff, although he's cracking the laps out, is 2.7 ahead. These guys have slowed each other down to the tune of half a second in his last lap and a half.
Now look at the last lap out of Baker. Only a 100th of a second difference, or in fact, a 10th of a second difference between himself and what he did earlier on the lap record. So he's on lap record pace every single time he crosses the line, and he crosses it one more time. Incredible stuff here. Have a look at this. That's Baker going side by side with Odendahl as they came out of Portable Shade Hairpin.
That
now
is
down towards the Ode.
That is the one place that I'm seeing a fault with the Yamaha of Odendahl. On the straight, stop, dead, fire it out corners, he cannot get the initial acceleration down like the Cows can.
Just kind of bogs down on the initial part of the acceleration. 100% right now as they come into the roller coaster section, the corkscrew, and into the hairpin. Not quite close enough this time. He was a lot closer the last time out, so he's going to have to find another one of those special Blaze Baker lines to get through on Odendahl.
Now, Odendahl knows his fault, so he's changed his line completely. He's giving himself a slightly wider entry into Portable Shade hairpin, and that's giving him a much better run out of it down into NGL.
As they head towards NGL, watch for an opportunity to sneak on the inside. Baker's shown a wheel there on occasions. He's not close enough this time, but he's definitely applying pressure. Odendahl won't be worried about the pressure. He is used to this kind of riding. Remember, he is not only doing duty here in South Africa, he's on an international ride this year as well, and overseas has already taken 4 podiums this season.
Yeah, he is in good form. It's taken a long time to come right in Spain. Because,
incoming!
Oh, there we go. Wide line, offline, way offline.
First
and
move
up
on that
the
box.
inside goes Baker, and that was on the inside of Pirelli, the Southern Loop. No one else has made a pass there count.
All right, so now we've seen almost every corner overtaking opportunities open up. So guys are looking for chances and where to overtake. Just have a look at this race. Blaze Baker will show you.
You were talking about pressure applied. Well, unfortunately, it was a slightly wide line in Pirelli Southern Loop for Odendahl. He will make a note. He is good like that, and he will try and go back. We've got a good replay here. Here's just slightly offline there for Odendahl, and he tried to cut back right in the middle of the track. There's a bump. He could not come back under the power. The front end was pushing out.
Yeah, and Baker said, thank you very much. I'll take second place in a place that I'm not supposed to be overtaking.
That was just the wide line. The door was left wide open by Odendahl.
And he made it stick, so hats off to Baker for making that one stick. 0.3 of a second between the two of them as they cross the line. This is Shelley down in 4th place. He's about 10 seconds off the back end of that battle. And in fact, now gone up to 13 seconds. So a little bit of a change up there for the 4th place man. Magic Mike is still in 5th place, just circulating. That's all he's got to do. He doesn't have to do anything else. He's got 2nd place in the championship. He'll have the number 2 plate if he decides to take that one up and remove the 58 off his bike. But right now, the battle is for 2nd place on the road between Baker and Odendahl.
It's a major urgency coming out of Odendahl and Baker. And Baker does not want to give this... Oh, can that be right? 8 laps still to go?
Yes,
man.
Indeed. I was about to say the move, when we got the replay, was made at the halfway point.
At the halfway knuckle.
So is that enough time for Baker to maybe still get up the road and catch Adolf Bossoff? At the lap times right now, it's a 16.3 out of Bossoff, it's a 16.9 out of Baker, but he was fighting with Odendahl on that lap. Let's see what he does on this one and see if he's able to bridge that gap. Only a couple of seconds up the road, you'll see Bossoff.
5.
Yes. Well, it's 5, and it's a big word, 5, isn't it?
5 is
it's a 4-letter word.
5 is more than a few.
Yeah, it's a 4-letter word, 5.
All right, by this point is normally where I start talking about tyres as we come through and lap on Nicole Van Asperen. Nicole and Darian just having a bit of a nightmare at this round, not figuring the circuit out. They'll have to come down here in the Christmas holidays and forego the beach and come and do some training at the track.
I spoke to Shane, he said we can come anytime, eh?
Sweet.
I mean, I'm here, but seriously, I want to have a jaw on this thing.
I'll bring my bikini.
I'm going to take the Mini, I'm going to bring the Triumph, I'm going to bring everything. We're going to have a jaw. I think bring the hire car as well, because that was pretty good.
I'll bring the hire car.
Darian Kayser is still circulating, though, even though he's not going to be finishing up where he wanted to. An 8th place on the road, although, as I say, circulating, he's slowing.
Dazzler is done with this. Nicole still trying to do some testing and figure this thing out. If I was these guys, I'd come into the pits, turn a few screws and go back out. Use it as a test session.
That's exactly what you've got to do. come down here, get the telemetry, get everything that you need for the next time we come here, because we're definitely coming back. There is no doubt about it. Some of the action we've seen has been some of the best in the SuperGP Champions Trophy.
Amazingly enough, Baker is stretching this one out. He has stayed solid since he made that pass count, and he has eked it out to over a second ahead of Odendahl. So Odendahl is not able to react.
And I want to just go back to what I said the last time they came in here. Let's have a look and see what the lap times are like. 16.4 from Baker, a 17.2 from Boshoff. So that is nearly over half a second quicker than Boshoff. So there is still time with 7.5 laps to go to catch Boshoff.
Look at the back end wagging around the whole way through that big sweeper. Incredible corner, one of the best looking corners on the circuit in South Africa. And Baker is all over the place. So we know that the Kawasaki's chew up that back end a little bit more than the Yami.
And that's exactly why Odendahl's probably going to just hang back and go, you know what, I've got the championship. There's no need to go and throw the bike down the road. I'm miles ahead of Anthony Shelley. Let's just call it a day and settle for third.
Here's our race leader. He has done everything right. Remember, applying that pressure as he why is he hanging his outside foot off?
Showboat.
Yeah.
That's a bit of showboating there.
Normally that's what you do.
Oh, he's showboating properly. Look at him, he's standing up. Or maybe he's cramping.
I was going to say,
he could be cramping.
And he has done this in the past before. We've asked him, what the hell are you doing? He says, no, I was cramping up completely.
It's a long time in the saddle to be in the small cockpit of a 600. So 18 laps, especially at a circuit like this. And a 16.7 on that last pass, as opposed to an 18.2.
Yeah.
That's nearly 2 seconds difference. Baker is closing and closing rapidly.
Yeah, Boshoff is in huge trouble. He should have had a little bit more salt and vinegar on his chips at lunchtime because he is in major cramps.
Baker is on a flyer here. He's made up 3 seconds in a lap and a half. And we've still got 6.5 laps to go. So there is more than enough time for Blaze Baker to take his first win of the season. And what a way to do it.
It's one of the funny things in superbike racing. We have seen some crazy situations. We've seen guys fall off because of cramp. We've seen guys have a cold and sneeze and crash under braking. We've seen some incredible stuff. But what we are seeing is Blaze Baker not letting this one go. When he sees the pit board this time around, he will be fired up.
Well, one man in his stable will be happy about that, Russell Wood, and he'll probably be the first man to tell Blaze Baker, you never give up. There are opportunities at every single place on a circuit, and until that checkered flag comes out, you keep going, and you put your head down and go as hard as you can. And that is exactly what Baker is doing right now. Across the line this time, what is the gap? Okay, it's a slight difference. It was 2.2, it's gone to 2.8. So it's kind of seesawing back and forth between the top two.
Yeah, and Baker can now see the rider up the road, so he's trying a little bit harder every time out of the corners. He's getting on the gas slightly earlier, which is making us jump out of our seats because the back end is all over the place on Baker's bike. Incredibly enough, though, he's still converting it into forward momentum.
17.2s in that forward momentum as opposed to the 17 dead out of Boshoff and a 17.2 also out of Stephen Odendahl. So Odendahl also has not given up this battle and still thinks there's a possibility of a top step on the podium for the final podium of the year.
Incredibly enough, when we talk about the category of rider that's running in fourth place, 13 seconds back to pick up on Shelley. It's just insane. The pace of this top three is just blowing me away.
I think to take into account, not to take anything away from the pace of the top three, but Shelley has had 36 laps back-to-back of racing. So he might just be feeling it ever so slightly, and also maybe just pacing himself to finish the Super GPs in the next half an hour as well.
Okay, Boshoff seems to have got rid of his cramp because we've seen a reaction at the previous lap. This will answer some of our questions as well as we head into the final 4 laps. Reaction again, back into the 16s. So we are having the shuffle and the wake-up is going.
But both riders into the 16s. A 16.8 out of Boshoff, a 16.4 out of Baker. Baker quickest on track right now.
Well, Baker's been in the 16s for the last 3 laps, but 2 laps ago, Boshoff went into the high 17s on the El Crampo lap.
So we're looking at opportunity here for Baker to close in on Boshoff. Has he got enough time? I think he does. We have got 3 3/4 laps to go for these riders. And Baker still in with a shot here with 0.4 of a second quicker than the rider in front.
I'm telling you, when you catch up with Odendahl at the post-race interviews, he's going to tell you there was something not quite set up on his bike that he wanted. He doesn't look as comfortable, as polished as always.
Well, there is a little bit of damage on that bike, which they might not have seen, and maybe it's just feeling the effects of that right now as he heads up into completing this last 3.5 laps now. So I think Odendahl will just be happy to settle for that 3rd place, take the final podium, be on the podium for the final race of the season, and look forward to 2016.
It seems to be through the diode, that open high-speed hairpin where he just cannot hold the line. Now he's pushing his front end out, and he doesn't have the faith to... You see that? He's not holding the front end on the line that he wants to.
Just doesn't want to turn right. It's turning left pretty good. See if it happens down into turn 1 as well as they cross the line and complete another lap. That is 15 down. 3 to go for these riders. 16-7 out of Bossoff, a 17-2. The seesaw effect between 1 and 2 is just incredible. It's great. It's a chess match on 2 wheels out there.
Yeah, it looks like Baker may have given everything he could, and the back tire as well, because you can see he's just tickling it through the corners now. He's not able to get on the pipe where he wants to, and he just knows that that back tire is spinning itself into oblivion. On the other hand, though, the R6, should I say, as we have seen since it came out this year, Odendaal has not been hurting the rubber.
It's incredible to see how well that bike handles and how well it goes. And as you heard, first time in, I think it was 7 or 8 years, Yamaha taking a title. They're about to take another one. It's just so incredible to watch how this chess match has unfolded right through the season. And it's still not done yet. That's the incredible part. As they come up to the line now, they're going to be completing lap 16. We'll have 2 to go. And Baker has not given up yet.
No, he's not given up, but the times are starting to tumble. Baker back down into the 17s now. So I know we sound like we are just quoting numbers the whole way through. The numbers tell their own story. And in fact, I can actually start seeing in the slower corners how shredded that back tire is, especially on the right-hand side.
I caught a glimpse of a blue flag as well, so I'm just going to be concerned about possibly catching some of the back markers. Will that come into play as they go down into turn 1 for 2 laps to go? Penultimate lap has been started. Baker into the 17s, 17.5 out of Bossoff. There's not enough time if he's only going at that kind of pace. He needed to be in the 16s at this point to catch and pass Bossoff.
Already hearing, or should I say feeling, the big bikes start to rev themselves and warmed up for our final event of the day. The last time we will go racing on the Diode SuperGP Champions Trophy will be after this, the last and second heat on the day for the Super GPs and Super Ms.
So down into Diode, double right. Bossoff has got the win. If he doesn't make a mistake on this lap and a half to go, Baker looks like, from the body language, second is it.
Yeah, settled. Unfortunately settled. And this time around, Bossoff hasn't had to do anything from the halfway marker. He did all the good work in the early running, and from that point on, normally the stage of the race, if he's in a dice where he starts to get waggy tail and throw the bike all over the place and make mistakes, this time around, he has got his game plan dialed.
Incredible run here, and heading across the line for the second last time. The last lap board is out for Adolf Bossoff. And he's now going to do it for 2.8 Ks more to keep Baker at bay.
Yeah, there's Baker. The gap now 3.3. So it has come down, but it came down around about 3 laps ago. Since then, it has leveled out. 3.3 will possibly come down a little bit with Bossoff having a look over his shoulder and rolling in a couple of high-risk sections. But right now, he is just enjoying it. He has been the man here at Dezzi's.
It's been an incredible ride here from the Cowboy. He mentioned in his NGL Logistics 60 Seconds that Dezzi Raceway is his favorite.
As if he knew.
See why.
As if he knew.
He just had this like crystal ball saying, oh yes, this is my favorite track. Heading down though, it's still a couple of corners to go. And if he keeps it all together, this will be a great victory. And a nice way to end the season for a man who's tried hard. He's been up and down all season. He's been on the podium. He's taken a race victory. He's going to take another one here. But this just bodes well for 2016.
Yeah, a DNF and a missed round, definitely keeping him out of the championship, but a classy rider and a rider that has come on leaps and bounds in these last 6 months.
This will definitely keep him in the 3rd spot of this championship. So a top 3 finish with his final podium of the season for Adolf Bossoff on the Indy Oil and Toy Store Kawasaki.
Exciting rider, not to take anything away from him, but the most exciting rider on this second race was Blaze Baker. The flag is out though. Bossoff comes through to cement his name as the winningest rider thus far in the Super 600s here at Dezzi's Raceway. A great ride for Blaze Baker, and he is awarded with that 2nd place.
Stand by for the burnouts.
Yeah, let's throw some rubber away. The top 2 Kawasaki boys showing that currently in the 600s, this is a Kawasaki track. Odendaal stays on point, and his 3rd place 100% confirms the fact that he will be outgoing and remaining champion once again. So the top 3 putting on a show, and the crowd here at Port Shepstone enjoying the smell of rubber. They're pretty used to that by now. So Odendaal takes the 3rd place. His stablemate on the MTech Racing Nashua Yamaha, Anthony Shelley, takes 4th place. Magic Mike takes 5th. That will cement his 2nd place in the championship. Dylan Barnard is going to get tagged with a 6th place finish, and Nicole van Asweken and Darian Keizer battling, scoring a 7th and 8th, a couple of laps behind.
In the Super 600s, though, in third place, and your newly crowned champion. Now, officially, you can say that because Brad brought the T-shirts out. So you can't say he's a champion until Brad brings the T-shirts out. So let's get him up on the podium. It's the third step of the podium for the final time of the season for Pooch on the Neil powered by Yamaha team, Stephen Udendahl. Second place, going to be joining him up there on the podium for Muscle and Fitness, Kawasaki. Let's hear it for Blaze Baker. Top of the podium, that's going to go to the Indy Oil Toy Store Kawasaki and Adop the Cowboy Bossoff. And with a magnificent effort in both categories today, it's going to be getting the rookie trophy, although he's not really a rookie, but because of his efforts, we're going to give him that rookie trophy. Let's hear it for the MTech Nashua Yamaha rider, Anthony Shelley. Right, so yeah, you can give him a rookie badge at the end as well, hey? Naughty badge maybe for him as well. Let's get third place trophy by Mr. Tim Cook from Gas Sports. That gets handed to our newly crowned champion, Stephen Udendahl. Pradesh from Pirelli will hand out second place to Blaze Baker. Rob Stone from Indy Oil will be passing the trophy on to his Indy Oil rider himself. Let's hear it for him. Big effort there from Adolf Bossoff today. And the rookie of the day from Mr. Tim Cook goes to Anthony Shelley. There it is, ladies and gents, your final podium of 2015. Let's make some noise for them. They're about to get wet. I love the fact that Brad Onassis grabs me. What am I? Because I'm a big oak that you grabbed me, Brad. Thanks a lot, bro. Let's go and have a chat to the champion quickly here. Final bits and pieces going down. Yeah, well done. Yeah, I spray him again. Why not, eh? Why not? Poochie, I didn't get to speak to you on the first one, but it all went wrong, unfortunately, but not in terms of the championship.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, in the first race, I overcooked it a little bit and ended up in the kitty litter. And, you know, it was quite a hard crash, one of the hardest I've had for a while. So, you know, we fixed the bike. Great effort to the team. Thanks for helping fix the bike. And we got out there and pushed again, but we just didn't have the pace, and the other guys rode extremely well, and unfortunately, you know, you win some, you lose some, but I'm very happy to have the championship and really happy to be up here.
I'm sure you are. We made mention of the fact that Clint went back-to-back, but of course you also did go back-to-back for the championships, and that's a phenomenal effort. It's not an easy thing to do. They always say, you know, it's easy to get that number one plate, but to retain it is more difficult.
Yeah, no, it's definitely more difficult to retain the plate, but we got it, so I'm very happy, and just want to say thank you to everyone that's behind me, and thank you.
Good job. Well done on the season. Excellent part of the season there. Blaze Baker. It's typical Blaze Baker. You can see what happens when you get down to the coast. You see all the hot chicks, and Blaze Baker immediately goes there. So that's what it's all about. Blazy, it was a much better effort out there from both you and Adolf initially, but eventually at the end just ran out of rubber by the looks of things.
Yeah, I've really struggled off the start, and then I found it really difficult to manage to pass the guys in front of me under braking. So it took me a few laps, and then I had a few moments. I said to myself, all right, I'm going to cool down, and then I said, okay, I'm going to give it one good push. I gave it that good push, and by that time, Dolphy had already checked out, and that second is the best for me today. I'd just like to say thank you to all my sponsors, Indy Oil, you know, Russell Wood, Turbo Fluid, Hooked Up Motorsports, everyone who's been by my side this year, and we look forward to next year.
Yeah, we're looking forward to next year as well, particularly if it goes like this. But it is the home track, well, a home track for you more than anything else. So I think it's more important for you to get onto the podium here other than anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, definitely. When I heard this track was coming out, I got so excited. And then to see it and how it's turned out is absolutely incredible. This is a wonderful track, and thank you to Dezzi.
Well done, and congratulations on the season there. Let's get the cowboy up here. Yo, there was some impressive lap times coming out of you, and in fact, the fastest lap of the weekend for the 600s also in the bag for your team.
Yeah, to start off with, thank you to my sponsors, Indy Oil, RSA Sprayworks, TH Transports, Ara Helmets, Kawasaki South Africa, everyone. Without you, this day wouldn't have been possible. And yeah, when I passed Steven, I saw I had good pace. The tires were gripping, And I just started, let's gamble it and go hard at it, and it worked for me. The last few laps I was struggling with tires, so I was taking it cool, but yeah, this is awesome. I'm happy for the double. This is my first double, and hopefully there's a lot more next year.
Take us through, looks like a little bit of cramp in the middle of the race as well, standing up and putting your foot off, trying to get rid of the cramp, taking a bit of toll and a bit of strain with 18 laps.
Yeah, for sure. 18 laps is a lot around this track. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I get cramps, and that's the best way to get rid of them, to stand up and carry on.
A bit of showboating as well, which was awesome to see, but congratulations, double on the day, and that's the way to end the season.
Thank you so much. Yeah, look forward to next year.
He's got a red number 1 t-shirt on now. It's part of the Near Life, powered by Yamaha team. An awesome effort from Pooch, and he's going to get up onto the top step of the podium to show you he is number 1 for 2015 in Super 600s. Stephen Undal. Dick Shuttle will be handing out that Super 600 Champions Trophy to Stephen Undal. It's a double for the team, Pooch, and I think that's what you wanted, Stevie. It went all according to plan. Not quite in the first race of today, of course, but overall in the championship, it's been a really good one for the team.
Yeah, I know the team's done a fantastic job. You know, they've put everything together and they've made the bikes work, and that's the most important thing. Like the rider and the bike working together, and that's when you win championships. I just want to say thanks to the whole team of Brad and Assis. He's really done a great job. And also, yeah, today didn't work out as well as I expected. I would like to have gone out with a double win, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, you know. That's what shows you these guys aren't messing around. They're at it all time. So well done to the guys that were riding with me, and also just thanks to everyone who supported me, and yeah, full gas.
The Diode SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Digital Entertainment On Demand and their associate sponsors.